Welcome back to Narcissism Freedom. This message is for the person who once cried in silence, who carried the weight of injustice without witnesses, and who wondered if the truth would ever rise above the lies. This message is for you because something is happening now that cannot be stopped. Narcissistic abuse justice is not a fantasy. It is not wishful thinking. It is a process that unfolds in ways both seen and unseen. And whether they realize it or not, the truth is catching up to them. There was a time when it seemed like they had the upper hand. They controlled the narrative. They manipulated perceptions. They twisted facts until even you questioned your own memory. They spoke with confidence, hiding behind charm, persuasion, and carefully crafted illusions. To the outside world, they appeared convincing. But what they never understood is that deception has an expiration date. No matter how convincing a lie may seem, it cannot sustain itself forever. You may remember the moments when you felt completely alone. Moments when you tried to explain your pain, only to be dismissed or misunderstood. Moments when their words cut deeper because others believed them instead of you. That kind of injustice leaves scars that are not always visible. It shakes your confidence. It makes you question your worth. It makes you wonder if peace will ever return. But justice does not begin with them. Justice begins with you. It begins the moment you stop seeking validation from those committed to misunderstanding you. It begins the moment you stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from your silence. It begins the moment you realize that your healing does not require their acknowledgement. The moment you stepped away from their control, you disrupted the illusion they depended on. Narcissists rely on access. They rely on proximity. They rely on your emotional reactions to maintain their sense of power. When you withdraw your energy, when you stop responding, when you choose peace instead of conflict, their foundation begins to crack. They may pretend to be unaffected, but internally, they feel the shift. They sense that something is no longer within their control. This is where justice quietly begins. Justice is not always loud. It does not always come in the form of public exposure or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes justice is the slow unraveling of the false image they worked so hard to maintain. It is the gradual loss of influence. It is the subtle shift in how others perceive them. It is the quiet realization that their tactics no longer work the way they once did. While they were focused on controlling you, they neglected to build something real within themselves. Their confidence was dependent on domination, not authenticity. Their stability was dependent on manipulation, not truth. When you removed yourself from their reach, you removed the structure that supported their illusion. Meanwhile, something else was happening within you. You began to heal. Healing is one of the most powerful forms of justice because it restores what was taken. It rebuilds your sense of identity. It reconnects you with your inner strength. It reminds you that you were never weak. You were targeted because of your strength, your empathy, and your light. In the beginning, healing may have felt unfamiliar. You may have experienced moments of doubt. You may have questioned whether you were making the right decision. But over time, clarity replaced confusion. Peace replaced chaos. Confidence replaced fear. And as you grew stronger, the contrast became undeniable. They remained the same, while you evolved. This is something narcissists cannot tolerate. They expect their victims to remain frozen in pain, trapped in cycles of self-doubt and emotional dependence. They expect you to carry the damage they caused. But when you rise, when you heal, when you reclaim your peace, you break the pattern they relied on. Your healing becomes evidence of their deception. In Galatians 6 verse 7 it says, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap." This is not a threat. It is a principle. Actions carry consequences. Truth carries weight. And eventually everything aligns according to what was planted. You do not need to force justice. You do not need to expose them. You do not need to prove your innocence to those who chose not to see it. Justice unfolds naturally when you align yourself with truth. Over time, their mask becomes harder to maintain. Their stories become inconsistent. Their behavior reveals patterns that cannot be hidden forever. People begin to notice what you once endured in silence. The same manipulation that was used against you begins to affect others. The same tactics that once seemed invisible become obvious. This is not because you sought revenge. It is because truth cannot remain buried forever. There is something else they never expected. They never expected you to find peace without them. They never expected you to rebuild your life. They never expected you to smile genuinely again. They believed their influence would define you permanently. But they were wrong. Your peace is not dependent on their apology. Your freedom is not dependent on their confession. Your future is not dependent on their acknowledgement. Justice is not about hearing them admit what they did. Justice is about reclaiming yourself fully and completely. Sometimes justice looks like distance. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like living a life so grounded in truth that their lies lose all power. You may never witness every consequence they face. You may never hear the words you deserve to hear. But justice is still unfolding. Every moment of clarity you experience is part of that justice. Every step forward you take is part of that justice. They may try to ignore it. They may try to deny it. They may try to convince themselves that nothing has changed. But deep down, they feel it. They feel the loss of control. They feel the absence of your presence. They feel the reality that their influence over you is gone. And that is something they cannot reverse. In Isaiah 41 verse 10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." You are never alone, even in your darkest moments. Every step you took toward healing was supported by a strength greater than the pain you endured. Justice is not always about what happens to them. Justice is about what happens to you. It is about the restoration of your identity. It is about the return of your confidence. It is about the realization that what was meant to break you became the foundation that rebuilt you stronger. You are no longer the person they tried to control. You are no longer the person who questioned your worth. You are no longer the person who lived under the weight of their manipulation. You are free, and freedom is the greatest form of justice there is. The truth is catching up to them, but more importantly, the truth has already set you free. If this message resonates with you, it is not by accident. Your journey was not meaningless. Your survival was not random. Your healing was not impossible. Everything you endured led you to this moment of clarity, strength, and freedom. Welcome to Narcissism Freedom.